ask you about 3G and 4G in just a bit. In terms of network expansion, what is the capital expenditure that you're looking at for FY16 and FY17? Is it safe to say that it will naturally go up now? And, you know, I think the other two peers, the larger peers, Bharti and Vodafone, work with around 6,000 to 7,000 crore rupees. Would that be an estimated amount?
So, you know that the company was very focused over the last 6 to 9 months on spectrum renewal, and we are in the midst of a budgeting cycle. We will complete that, and in the next earning call, we'll be able to give a definite number. But I'm going to give you a philosophy on the basis on which we have been following this.
Sure.
Before 2010, when we had only 2G spectrum, the company was spending about 2,500 crores on an average for expansion of 2G services. After that, we started our digital journey, and in the last 3 years, we expanded our fiber network to about 90,000 kilometers. We are currently handling 46 billion megabytes per quarter in volume of data. And we have launched around 28,000 3G sites as of 1st January 2015. And we've been able to do all of this by expanding our investment capex from early level in 2010 of 2,500 crore to 3,500 to 4,000 crores. We will make investments as much as we can absorb. We don't make investments ahead of time, and we don't see that we're going to make returns in the same year. So there may be little realignment of our investments. There is a possibility of reduction of investments in 2G and expansion in 3G for a short period of time. And in the longer run, the 2G investments will shift over to 4G. In 15. So this is a philosophical number. The specific numbers, I think, hopefully by the earnings call, we should be able to give you for FY16.
Let me ask you about 4G in that case. Currently, after the spectrum auction, around 10 circles roughly have 4G currently. So what is the way ahead for 4G? By when are you looking at launching 4G? You've so far not heavily gone into 4G, but now that you have the possibility, would this be a big play for Idea?
You are absolutely right. We have focused on 1800 megahertz spectrum, and now we've acquired for 10 circles 4G, but it covers 61% of overall revenue.
Correct.
So the methodology that we are presently debating internally is we will first like to finish our rollout on the 3G front, and in markets where there is a spectrum crunch, to evaluate a rollout of 4G. But our rollout of 4G is very dependent on ecosystem, both 4G handsets being available in the price point of $50 to $75 and multiple models being available, and 4G equipment prices falling from our current levels. So we are closely evaluating that. And we are not going to jump into 4G because we believe that there is still time for both these events to take place.
So in that case, by when will the 3G rollout be completed?
I don't think we can give you a time frame because we're in the cusp of a beginning of a data revolution. Even though we do 46 billion megabytes in a quarter, our expectation is these volumes will continue to grow at 100% level. And today, as I explained to you, while we have 350,000 villages where we cover for GSM services, we have on our own spectrum on 3G only about 30,000 villages, and hardly about 30 to 35% of the towns where we provide 3G services. So the journey has just begun. As we say in a T20, the first over has just been played on the 3G, and there is a long journey that we have to set. So I think let's not expedite that. We let us earn and then keep investing in these markets.
Okay. So in the 900 megahertz space, you've got an additional 5 megahertz over and above your renewal in Maharashtra. Would you say that now it would make sense to relaunch your 3G services in Maharashtra, even Delhi for that matter? And if yes, by when?
You are absolutely right. We have 3 markets where we have possibility of using 5 megahertz in 900 space. The number 1 market in India, which is Maharashtra. Number 3 market in India, which is Delhi, as well as you have ignored MP at 7.4. Now these markets we will use as second carrier. We have 2100 in Maharashtra and in Madhya Pradesh, but we will use the 5 megahertz available for rural markets to roll out 900 megahertz and use it as a second carrier.
As a second carrier, okay, fair enough. Would you stay away from relaunching in Mumbai, relaunching 3G services in Mumbai, given how high the cost is right now?
I think Mumbai, we believe that there was an error of judgment by Department of Telecommunication, having 800 available at 2200 crores, 900 available at 2800 crores, and 2100, which is where profile is inferior to that both of 800 and 900 at much higher price. We are hoping that they will correct it. If it doesn't correct, we will stay away from Bombay.
You'll stay away from Bombay, if the prices are not corrected, that is. Okay. In terms of the 21 megahertz, I wanted to clarify, you've only bid in Calcutta. Would it not have made sense to probably create a larger portfolio in 2100?
There is always a lot of desire, but there is a ability of the company, how much it can absorb and maintain and in fact grow its return. So there is so much and more that we have to do both on the digital space. As I remind you that even though we have only 13 out of 22 circles, they represent over 80% of our revenues on 3G. Even though we have 10 out of 22 circles, but it represents 61% of our revenues. So there is so much and more work that needs to be done, that we don't have to just go around gathering spectrum with no ability to be able to launch.
Okay. So I wanted a clarification from you. Around 90% of the investment that you have put in has of course been for very, very required renewals. But if you compare this to a Bharti Airtel and a Vodafone, they have not only renewed, they've also bought in additional spectrum. Some analysts have criticized that this could be a little bit of a setback when it compares to the other peers. Would you say that there would be a little bit of a lag in terms of market share?
I don't think so. That is my estimate. We have to remember that the company is currently at 17.5% revenue market share, and we've been growing at a pace of 1 to 1.5% on a year-on-year basis. We're the fastest growing company, not only growing at almost 2 times the pace of the market, but also an incremental revenue market share, delivering anywhere between 27 to 35% of incremental revenue market share. We have enough and more on our plates at this point of time of doing capital investments and expanding our presence both in the 2G space. There is 7 new circles which we acquired in 2012-2013, where we have to complete a rollout in these markets. We have now 13 circles, and even in the original 11 circles that we acquired in 2010, we have, as we call, only done about 25 to 30% of a rollout. There is so much more expansion to be done. And 4G, the game is not even begin. So I think rather than going around in focus of gathering spectrum and putting it on our balance sheet, we would rather have utilized this spectrum and monetize it as early as possible. Okay.
Lastly, in terms of the 3G model, if I look at, you don't have 3G in 9 circles. The government has hinted that in the next 1 year they will look at another round of 3G auction. Would you now look at investing further in another set of spectrum auctions, or would that be something that you'll stay away from?
So the company's first priority is to make sure that whatever we've gathered, we are able to do a good job and start monetize that as early as possible and start generating significant returns on that. As regards incremental investments and expansion of our spectrum footprint, I think it is going to be again business model led, rather than share process of gathering with not any hope of making money on that.
Okay, consolidation is the name of the game. There's a lot of talk about smaller players being bought out now, from the TTSL to SL. Would you agree? Are you in the race to acquire smaller companies?
So I'm not. I don't have a response to are we in any race, but all I can say is the inevitable outcome of this auction and 2014 auction, that the spectrum prices has become 9 to 10 times administered prices. The industry has at this point of time an overall net debt of 3,50,000 crores. We are only at a level of about 12 to 13%, while our market positioning is much stronger. It is going to put a lot of pressure on low market share operators who are currently losing EBITDA, whose renewal is upcoming, to find resources, and they will have to start taking calls whether they would like to participate in the next 20-year growth or would like to call it quits at this point of time.
Would you look at acquisition?
I think it's premature to have that discussion.
Fair enough. You're not talking to SL or Tata Teleservices?
No.
You're not talking to either of the players?
Yes, that's right.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Mr. Himanshu Kapania from Idea Cellular in his first interview after the spectrum auctions. Regardless of criticism from investors, from analysts, the company has garnered a renewal of majority of its spectrum, and it is confident that there won't be any significant change or impact as far as operating profits and cash flows are concerned in the near term. Thank you so much for watching.